What's going on, guys? It's the Money Talk Show with Dane, where we talk about all sorts of interesting topics having to do with money, specifically crypto and real estate. Here, we're doing our best to be the bridge between real estate entrepreneurs in general, and crypto to understand what we feel like is the biggest opportunity in our lives over the next few years. We've got just some juicy news coming out from Richard last night that we'll go over on the show. We'll physically show you guys some of the testnet stuff for Pulsechain. So welcome along. We're pumped to have you guys. Corey, go ahead and take it away.
Oh man, good morning, Hexicans. How are we doing out there in Hexico? This is an amazing day for all of us with B3 launching last night. I mean, I literally was just pacing back and forth all over my house trying to figure out what my next steps would do. And I had to start breathing and sit down and focus on, playing with the test net. I immediately scheduled a call with Gamma. As soon as V3 launched, I text Gamma because I know a lot of people are going to be messaging him, setting up times to set up the node validator. And so I got scheduled time for him for tonight to set up my node validator on the V3 testnet, which is going to be so much fun to be validating blocks for a first time on Pulsechain. And so, man, I'm just super excited to be rocking and roll with all you guys on this crypto journey. Bringing along a lot of our real estate guys and entrepreneur friends alike, and hanging out with all these hats of kids. So, yeah, man, I am super excited, Dane. This is going to be an amazing show, and man, I am pumped. Hex is at 12 cents.
Oh man, we're freaking running. It's been a blast.
Man, and now I want to touch on this before we go deep into the V3. And Hetzikins, I would like some of your commentary on this. So please feel free to comment in the chat here. But leading up to this point, Dane, I've been really considering doing a big portion of my hex on buy the rumor, sell the news, because I could use some of that USDC.
How dare you?
I know, right? Right? Freaking trader mentality, right? With paper hands. And I was, blood on my bag. I had liquid for just that one purpose. And well, the thing is, man, after this V3 launch, I am seeing enough buy pressure to offset the sell pressure. There's been just a ton of sell pressure and a ton of buy pressure to balance it. So we've been hovering on that 12-cent range just fine. And RH has said that he's not going to give us any more warnings. So I'm just like, man, maybe I just stake all my liquid and say, screw buy the rumor, sell the news. I value my hex more than I value USDC at this price point because I know it will be worth a tremendous more in USDC in the future. And so I'm struggling with this right now. What are your thoughts, Dane?
And in fact, post your guys' thoughts in the comments. We're curious to get your commentary as well. So I think that, well, and let's clarify too. So you and I both have the vast majority of our hex all staked out. We're excited for the next run, 2025. That'll be great. We're really excited about that. But we've both been holding some liquid to see if there would be some unique opportunities. I am hard pressed to think that there are going to be no cues or clues. In fact, if you're Richard, what should you say in order to try to prevent people from trading the market and to try to get price up? I mean, you say exactly what he said, right? You say, "Oh, there's going to be no clues, no warning. V3 could be or mainnet could be imminent any day now." And I mean, what have we seen from Richard so far? Well, we've seen that to Richard, it is very important to have a product that works and works well out of the gate. And so I am of the mindset, and I could be wrong. You guys know this about our show. We could be wrong. If we are, it's fine.
Well, some dudes on the internet. Yeah, don't take our advice. We're not financial advisors.
Of course. I would be really surprised if mainnet goes live in less than 30 days. In fact, I think I'd be kind of surprised if it was 30 to 45 days. I think we've got a few months that we're hanging out here. If you're Richard, I think you would love to go live mid-May, and you could point back to that and say, "Oh, I told you guys." Like, I didn't tell you the year, but I said
I would like it.
Yeah, that'd be great. My birthday's in May, all the better.
Oh,
Um,
shit.
but I just yeah, so with that being said, I mean, if you wanted to take some off the top, I would give it 30 days. But the nice thing, frankly, like it might be really nice because we've both been concerned that people would front run Hex on ETH, they would go and dump it to death. And if you didn't play the game a little bit, your ETH side hex would get destroyed. It would kind of be nice, honestly, if there wasn't a lot of warning. And one day Richard's like, "Hey, we're live,"
I
and
know.
people haven't had the opportunity to go dump their hex because I'd
This,
prefer to keep mine if I felt like, it made a lot of sense.
yeah, it's interesting to think about, man. And yeah, I don't know anymore, man. And like I said, I do value my X more than I value USDC at the 12-cent price range. Even still, I don't know.
Right, right.
Yeah,
Simon says he's 100% staked.
I
I can
like it,
respect
Simon.
that. I could
Yeah,
respect that.
respect it a lot.
And we got a number of you guys on. Appreciate you being here. Ryan's in our group. Appreciate you, Ryan. Problem Solver's on. What's up, Problem Solver? Bird Dog is here. Harmonic Hexakin, you guys are here almost every single day. We appreciate you guys tuning in. We're going to go and dive into testnet here live momentarily. So this will be fun. Will Hex pump much more? I think that's a great question. I mean, I think that if we go and we look at the liquidity, last I looked at it, there's a lot of liquidity that shifted up closer to the higher teens, 20-cent
Yes.
range, which typically, if you guys aren't aware, that's an indicator from the guys providing liquidity where they want/think pricing will go. So, man, I think you have some of the people that are like selling the rumor right now. They bought the news, they're
Dude.
selling the rumor right now. We're seeing a lot more buyers than sellers, although
Yeah.
the economic energy from the buyers is not necessarily like overwhelming the sellers and pushing price up really high, but it's holding steady right now. And I wouldn't be surprised at all if we end up closer to 20 cents relatively quickly here. There's a narrative going around of people saying, "Oh, we're going to be at 50 cents before you know it." I would love that. That would be great. But
I mean,
but man, like that's a lot of economic energy to push things up
you,
that rapidly.
you would need Godwell to come back in.
I just don't. I'd be really surprised if we saw all-time highs before mainnet. But I would love to be wrong. I hope I'm wrong on that. I'd
Yeah.
love to see it just go bananas. That'd be great. What are your thoughts, Corey? You the same?
I'm about in the same boat. I don't really feel like we could see another all-time high, although we would need a player like Godwell or even, man, I can't mention his name. Can't believe I'm going to mention his name because I don't like the guy, but Rack and Rochelle coming in and
Freaking
buying up.
guy.
Yeah,
What a
he's just a
liar.
pump and dumper. That's why I don't like him that much. But obviously, he could pump us to the over 50-cent range if he chose that he wanted to participate in. He will be doing buy the rumor, sell the new, guys. If you see him in there buying, that would not make me bullish long term for EHEX if he started buying. I'll tell you
In
right
fact,
now.
if he says he's going to start buying, that's a great
I
signal in the
might I
short
might
term to
start
sell
dumping.
everything you
I
can.
might if God will start buying, that's always long term bullish for any protocol that he's participating in.
Right.
So
I think this is a fair point. You guys understand that 10 cents doesn't really actually matter on the way to 100, right? I mean, I think
it's
that's
already
fair. But
close.
you also gotta take into mind, like, when do you think we're gonna get to $100? I don't think it's this cycle. And are you gonna hold through a 95% dip like most of these poor guys that were staked everything out? Every single one of them wishes that they had liquidity they could have sold near the top. Every one
Oh,
of them. Every
oh,
one of them.
yep.
And so, if you want to go and you want to stake out forever, by all means, feel free to do that. But I can promise you, I will not be the exit liquidity at the top this next go around. And I do not think that we get to $100 this next cycle. So,
I agree with
but
that.
you got to make your own financial
But
decisions for yourself.
Dat FOMO, but RH is correct with that long term. So I mean, but I'm definitely in the mindset that I could pick up more T shares by selling in this market top and exiting, and then coming back in the next bear market and picking up more T shares. I will literally 10x my T shares while I'm holding for the next second market cycle top. So that is how I'll be playing the majority of my bag, if not all of it. And I do believe RH is right. I believe that we can long term, 2-3 cycles down the road, hit that $100 price target. Especially as we see Pulsechain really revolutionize the crypto space. So it'll be interesting to see.
Yeah, it will be. I'm the 10th. Crypto is appreciated, so feel free to send over any crypto that you may want to come May 10th.
I can send you some testnet tokens, bro.
Yeah, send me some testnet tokens. Yeah, I'll do some testing. That sounds great. This is why a ladder is the way to go. So yeah,
sure.
certainly, and we don't disagree with that. You know, we have our ladder built out. The majority of ours built out to 2025 to be able to go and sell the top or as close to it as possible, because the yield in Hex will not outpace the downside of holding through a 95% dip. You literally could have bought 10 times the T shares if you would have sold the top and then bought back in the bottom. 10 times the T shares.
Yeah, I want more T shares.
And I get the T share rate always goes up, and they say don't get left behind. But look, it's 10 times the T shares. So once again, just my opinion. But let's get into testnet here. This will be fun. So I have created a new MetaMask wallet. So I'm here on my. So every time we stream, we come in on our work computer. So this is not my crypto computer. So I just have a MetaMask wallet that I don't care about with some test pulse. So let me go ahead and we'll get into it. This will be fun. All right. So if you guys have not connected to the Pulsechain, to the testnet, the easiest way that I found is you come here to Richard Hart. Now make sure that you've got the real Richard Hart account. You're not going to some scam website. But you just come here, click on this Pulsechain link, and voila, it'll bring it up right here. And I've already connected my wallet before the show because I wanted to make sure that there were no issues so we could use our time effectively here. But essentially, you'll have a connect wallet button here at the bottom or in the top right. It's green. You press connect wallet. All of the RPC settings will show up here in your MetaMask. You confirm it. Now you're connected and we're ready to rock. And you can see we've got 10 test PLS. So
do you get that from the faucet thing?
Yep.
No, from the faucet. Okay, what is it? Where's that faucet for our audience knows?
Yeah, so let me show you guys that. And shout out to K4K. He's always got some of the best content. So if you want to go to the faucet, here's K4K. He's posting here. You simply come here, you click on this link. It'll open up this test faucet. And you can only get, you can see I already claimed mine, so it won't let me. You can only claim 10 test tokens per 24 hours, which I wonder why they set it to that. I don't know. But you can only get 10 per wallet. In fact, 10 per MetaMask. I even created another account and tried to grab some more. Apparently, if you go and use a VPN and you do some different things.
What about Free Pulse IO? Free Pulse IO has a faucet. I don't know if they got one for the testnet V3. But they're going to be basically you can claim about 100. It's anywhere from 100 to 300 or something like that. I can't remember. Pulse a day, even when the main net goes live. So you up to $200.
Yeah, let's try it.
Try it. See if you can grab some pulse out of there. This is Felix and those guys. These are OG Hexicans who created this, and they have a significant amount of pulse.
Solve the capture. And once again, you guys, this is just a test wallet. It doesn't matter if you guys see
exactly. And I think it's a little lottery thing you'll do, and then it will pick how much free pulse you're going to get.
Oh, whoops. Did I not follow the instructions? Please click each image containing a dog t-shirt. Okay. Dog. I'm going to say that's a dog. That's a dog. I freaking hate these.
I get them wrong all the time.
I know, right?
So there we go. So I think that's how much pulse you won. And now I'm thinking you can withdraw it to your wallet now.
Withdraw. Let's see.
Withdraw all of it.
Your withdrawal of 26 pulse will be sent to the Pulsechain address.
Oh, that's it? Oh, well. Can you move the bar, Dane? Is that bar movable? You see that the movable bar?
47. Yeah, let's try it.
Oh, nice. Yeah. Withdraw all that. Let's go.
Yeah, let's see.
Take your 10,000 pulse.
I'm rich.
Let's
See.
go.
No, we don't need to back any of that up.
Yeah, I'm wondering if
drop here.
There it is. You got it.
Did it show up?
Yes. Open it up.
Oh yeah, cool. We're ready to rock. So cool. Here's a better place to go get more. So that worked out nice.
Man.
So a couple of faucets, you can come grab some test pults. You can play around on the test net. And if there's anything specifically you guys want to see here that I can show you, feel free to post it in the comments.
Absolutely. This is going to be fun.
So we've got our pults. We're ready to rock. Richard said, in fact, I'll show you guys here. So Richard said that it sounds like potentially later today. I don't know if I'll be able to find it, but they're going to connect to another Ethereum testnet that should give like some quote unquote dollar value to be able to come and see what things are worth, and we can play around with it. It'll have more useful data. So that'd be cool to see. But we can play around with this right now, so you can see one of the main things that I was monitoring pretty closely last night is what was the ratio between Pulsex and Pulse. So we can do it. So for every Pulse, if you traded Pulse right now and you did a swap for every Pulse, you could pick up almost 7.5 Pulsex. Now, this ratio, if you're somebody that was planning on swapping your Pulsex for Pulse, I sent Corey and one of our other friends, Josh, a picture last night. I got in there as fast as I could, and the ratio was literally 4 Pulsex for every Pulse. So I could have swapped 4 Pulsex to get 1 Pulse. Or no. It was opposite.
It was the other way
I would
around.
get 4 Pulse for every 1 Pulsex, which was nuts.
Yeah.
However, and this was the biggest problem. In fact, let's play around with this. So this isn't much Pulse. Oh yeah, it'll let it. So if we swap, what's our price impact? Oh, it's low right now. Okay. So one of the problems that I found yesterday, and Corey as well, as we were playing around on the test net, is that the AMM bot, it went through and it scooped up a bunch of stuff, but it did not deploy a whole lot of liquidity. Mm-hmm. And so I was trying to swap last night. What was it? I was trying to swap. It wasn't that much. It was like, maybe I'm going to tell you guys the wrong number. It was like 100 million Pulsex for Pulse. I was trying to swap the whole thing, and the price impact with just 100 million was like, it was a lot. It was like a 10% price impact. So to put that into perspective for you guys, 100 million at best sack price is 3 zeros and a 1. It's $10,000. So to go swap $10,000, I mean, the liquidity wasn't thick enough that you could swap, a little bit larger amounts. So keep that in mind as part of your strategy for mainnet. Corey and I have a lot of things that we've been thinking through and ideas we wanted to implement here, but the liquidity was so thin that frankly you couldn't do a lot of damage in any of the pairs, at least yesterday.
Yep. Yeah.
So, but it's interesting to come in and look at these. So right now, once again, the ratio for every Pulse, right now you could get 7.5 Pulsex. This is not a ratio that I would do the other way. So Corey and I both missed the Pulsechain sacrifice by just a hair. I definitely would not swap 7 of my Pulsex for 1 Pulse.
God, no.
Terrible ratio.
Yeah, that is you betting that Pulsechain will do a 7 times return on your money in the next, however your time horizon is, than PulseX. It's just me. That is not a bet I am willing to take.
No, absolutely not. And you've got to keep in mind too, the Pulsex will have the single-sided staking pools to earn yield. So when you're factoring all of that in here, you've got to make a determination and say, hey, how similarly do you think they will perform? I don't think Pulsechain is going to do 7 times better than Pulsex.
No.
And so I wouldn't do this swap. And once again, we could be wrong. Maybe it does way better. But as things stand, I would not do this swap.
Right. No.
And we could come in. So I added USDC earlier. So let me show you guys. So in fact, if we wanted to go, so every for right now, every one pulse X equals essentially it's up. What is that? 9, almost 10,
Nine.
a 10x from
Yeah.
best SAC price right now.
Just,
But
it's
once
nice.
again, this is the copies of USDC. These are not going to be worth anything or hold their value for long once we go to mainnet. So we can't extrapolate a lot of good, reasonable information from this, but it's interesting to see.
We'll put in Pulsechain. Let's see what Pulse is on,
Yeah,
on
let's
the
go.
Yeah, I'm just curious right now.
So like Pulsechain is a 68x from best SAC price, not including bonuses. 68x. It's crazy. So one thing for you guys. So once again, with Pulsechain being a full system state copy of Ethereum, it's really easy to go add tokens that that you may be interested in. So for instance, if I wanted to go and I wanted to look for, let's do like Icosa, for instance, it's not here. So we can come, and there's lots of ways to get contract addresses. I like Nomics. You can go to etherscan.io as well. For some reason, I feel like Etherscan has problems when I try to search things. So Nomics seems to be a little bit better in my experience. So I come here, I find Icosa, I verify, sure enough, that's at the price. That's the right price. It's the right symbol. This is the right Icosa. I can come right here and copy this contract address. And then we come back here to, let's close this. We come back here to Pulsex. And if we want to look at the pool, manage tokens, we're just going to come right over here and paste in our address. There's Icosa. Import it. Say I understand. Import. And there it is.
There it is.
Now let's see. I'm curious. What is the liquidity like here? Oh, our price impact isn't that strong. But once again, we only have 10,000 pults.
Yeah,
so
that's not much money.
Yeah, at best SAC rate, 10,000 pults is what? Is $1. All right. 3001.
That's right. Yeah.
So we only have $1 theoretically worth of pults at best SAC rate, not including any bonuses. But you can see, I mean, we're going to swap $1 of pults for Icosa. We're going to impact the price, 0.6%.
It's pretty heavy.
That's a lot.
That's a lot.
It's a lot.
Maybe they get.
And you can see we add just one more zero. We got to swap $10 of pults to Icosa. It won't let us do it because we're going to move the pricing too much.
But guys, keep a very close eye on this even when mainnet comes, because I mean, right now this is play money. But when mainnet comes, if the AMM bot's going to hold back a lot of the liquidity, just to kind of help space out the people dumping and stuff like that. Maybe that's the game theory behind it, or whatever game theory it might be behind it. But it's be careful don't just go and confirm swaps willy-nilly and get yourself wrecked, losing 10, 20, or even 30% of your bag. Be very careful.
Right. Here's another one. So there's a giant narrative that everyone just goes and they swap their copies of Hex for Pulsechain.
Yeah.
But the liquidity is so thin, you can't do any damage. So here we are once again, our 10,000 pults that once again is like $1 at best SAC rate. It'll let us do that. But as soon as we add another zero there, we make it $10. Well, there's not enough liquidity. It won't let us swap it.
Yep.
And so your ability to do some damage here is like zero almost.
Although a lot of people could have sucked out a lot of the liquidity last night.
And I tried last night. The liquidity was very similar.
Okay.
Yeah, liquidity sucked last night too.
Yeah, so be careful, guys. This could be the way it looks. We don't know.
Now I've seen some people, and this is interesting. Some of these guys are like, "Oh, well, you just increase the slippage." Oh, well, that's a great way to go shoot yourself in the foot worse. Like, it doesn't, that doesn't, in my opinion, make a whole lot of sense. And so this is interesting. Now, once again, mainnet, maybe Richard and they deploy liquidity differently on mainnet. That's going to be really interesting to watch. But if testnet version 3 is any indicator, it sounds like the AMM bot is going to deploy liquidity over time, and there won't be a lot during the ratio trading.
Yeah. So the only time you might want to consider doing a ratio trade, guys, is if you have a shit coin, that you're holding over an ERC20 you were just planning on using for the ratio swapping. That you don't care that you experience a 5 or 10% slippage in, because you don't have a long-term a horizon on the coin anyways, or a long-term belief in the coin anyways. And so that would be a good coin, something like that would be good for the ratio swapping, because you don't care if you get wrecked on it.
Yeah, I like that tip. But even still, like let's use Shiba Inu for instance. They've said they're coming over to Pulsechain.
They are coming to Pulsechain, so I wouldn't. Yeah.
So like, but I think it's really oh whoops, I did it. Oh no, I got it. Import. I understand.
Boom,
So
boom.
here's Shiba Inu. So let's say we want to go the opposite way though. We'll go from SHIB to Pulsechain, and I want to just dump all my SHIB. Like if I had a bunch. How thick is the liquidity here? Oh, the liquidity thicker here? Nope, insufficient SHIB balance. You can see there's just no liquidity. You can't do any swapping. The liquidity is so thin on V3 right now that insufficient SHIB balance.
Is there no pool at all for the SHIB? And maybe there's no pool at all. I wonder if the MM bot deployed a pool for SHIB and
Go from Pulse to SHIB, and maybe I need to pick some up.
oh,
Let's see. Let's confirm our swap.
yeah.
Confirm. And you can see, so this is cool. So the gas on Pulse is like freaking free. This is awesome. I love this. This was one of the biggest takeaways. This and the thin liquidity is just remarkable. I mean, it's
Yeah.
almost free. It's incredible.
It is awesome. It's
Yeah.
so amazing.
So we come here, we confirm, we'll pick up a little bit of SHIB.
Yeah.
Now we can wait and see what the transaction times are like here. Activity. Now, one thing that I found, I was hoping that this would noticeably, so our transaction just went through. I found that, frankly, last night when there was a big rush into testnet, it felt very similar. Now, I understand that Pulsechain isn't that much faster than Ethereum, but I was hoping that it would pick up blocks better with the validating and make it feel and work a little more seamless. I did not feel that way last night. It felt the same as Ethereum. Transactions were being delayed. There were things getting stuck. Like it was not that seamless.
I had failed transactions, and I had some that got stuck. But also taking consideration the chain still sinking. I don't know if that has any significance. I'll actually ask Gamma tonight when I'm on.
Yeah, that'd be good information to share.
Yeah, if by the chain sinking like that, was that causing the issues of the failed transactions because it wasn't synced up to the block explorer? I mean, I don't know. Like, I know there's some correlation there to that. I just don't know if that would prevent the glitches we saw, or create the glitches we saw last night.
Right. So here's a great question. Do you have to add each ERC20 coin manually one by one? So yeah, I mean, when
looking that way right now.
Yeah, you can see there's not hardly anything here when you come in. So I've added SHIB, I've added USDC, I've added ICOSA. So the only things that were here natively were Pulsechain, Hex, the Ink token. Looks like everything else you'll need to add.
Yeah. I had to go in and add Pulse Bitcoin, ASIC, Keytron, ICOSA, all the stuff that we love. And then I knew I had it to snapshot. I had to go in and add them. Yeah.
Yep. So you got some work to do there. You got to go in and add them. So that's a great question.
For this snapshot, guys, whatever you had in your wallet at the end of January is when this snapshot took place.
Yeah, that's helpful. So that's a oh, Randy was talking about refreshing your browser.
Yeah, it helps.
That helps. Certainly.
Was helping, but yeah, we'll see.
It was Dane that didn't get any sleep last night. I was working, man. I'm trying to get prepped. So I think that's the next thing that's really interesting to discuss. So like Corey just said, the snapshot was back in January. Now, to be clear, the snapshot and the fork for mainnet, they're the same thing. They're the same thing. They're not different. You don't, like a snapshot is just for a blockchain that already exists and they can go back in time and like snap stuff. For mainnet, there will not be a separate snapshot. However, the thing to factor in or consider, or at least that I've been considering, is what block do they fork for Pulsechain mainnet? Like how there's got to be some. In fact, Corey, when you're talking with Gamma, ask him about this. But in my head, there's got to be some sort of delay, in order to fork. You've got to put your line in the sand and say we're forking at this point, bringing it over, and this is now Pulsechain. The question is when is that? Is it a week delay? Is it a month? A month feels like a lot. Is it a day? Is it a few hours? I don't know. And so back to Corey's point at the beginning of the show, do you want to play the buy the rumor, sell the news event? Well, you might go and play it, but play it a little too late and not get what you were hoping or anticipating. And that could be tricky. So that's something that I've been thinking about a lot. You guys post in the comments. I'm really curious. What do you guys think? Do you think that how long of a delay, if you have an opinion, do you think will occur between when mainnet goes live and the block height? I believe it's block height, right? That they copy and that they fork from.
Yep.
How long do you think? I don't think it'll be. I would be willing to bet it's a day, a few days.
A week or less is my anticipation.
A week or less.
The problem is we just don't know, and so like he could like literally fork Ethereum 2 weeks before he even announces to us that we are live, and they could have the devs in the background doing their thing. They don't have the RPC settings, out to the public yet. And that is the risk on some of the stuff that you take. I don't think it will be that way. I don't think he's going to fork and then like 2 weeks or a month later he launches. I just don't see that happening. I really feel like the fork is going to be closer to the launch date. But I'm going to ask Gavin tonight. I'm like, hey man, hypothetically, if you were launching a blockchain, would you fork?
Yeah, it'd
like,
be interesting to have a rough idea.
I mean, the guy knows this stuff, but he's not going to reveal to me everything. But I'll ask.
I think it's reasonable to speak in generalities.
Yeah,
it'd be interesting to see what he would say. Francis says 1 month delay. So I find that fascinating because if that's the case, like that, it would suck to go buy a bunch of hex. Like let's just say like theoretically Richard launches mainnet in two weeks. I don't think that's going to happen, but let's just say he launches in 2 weeks. All the guys that have been buying hex and making it pump this whole time, they don't get their free copy. Like, that would suck.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I tend to think that a month feels like a long time, but I don't know. Yeah, it's interesting to think about. Not long because events takes less than 2 weeks. Interesting.
Yeah.
I can see that.
I can see that too, because that Richard's going to think about that.
Okay. It'll also mitigate gaming the system if you think about it, because people are like, "Oh, now's the time to go buy all this stuff and get a free copy," and Richard's like, "Nope."
Yeah.
and he freaking forks it.
Which he loves that.
Yeah, he loves that. That's interesting. Bird Dog. Yeah, absolutely. Let me show you. Can you show us how to add them really quick? I'm assuming you mean individual tokens. If I'm wrong, feel free to say so. You've got to go to a website to find the contract address for whatever tokens you want to import. And I like Nomics. You can go to like etherscan.io. I don't know if I'm just like no good at using Etherscan. It seems to give me a lot of problems. The searches don't bring up the tokens I'm looking for. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to clear my cache and cookies on my computer. I don't know. But I like Nomics. Nomics is easy. It gives you the contract address right down here. You can verify the pricing. If you're like us, you're like keeping a mental idea of what prices are always. And so it's easy to come in here and say like, oh yeah, price seems about right. This is the right contract. You can come down here and copy the address. So in fact, let me just go back. So here I am at nomics.com. Say I wanted, let's say like the ASIC token with Pulse Bitcoin. So I find ASIC, it's this one right here with this little symbol. I click on it. Sure enough, I know the ASIC's, roughly $1 right now. I come down here, I'm going to copy this contract address. I can click on these little boxes, or in fact, if you want to view it on Etherscan, you can click right there. It'll bring you over here and you can check out whatever information you want. Like I said, I like to just come over here, click the little boxes, copy the address. And then when we come back here, you're here to trade. You can click on one of these boxes and then click on Manage Tokens down here in the bottom. And then you got to come here to Tokens over on the right. And then you simply, tokens. And then you paste in right here the token address that you just, or the contract address you just copied. You press import. It'll give you all this warning. Make sure you're not like importing a scam. It's actually what you want. You press I understand and import. And there it is. And the nice thing about this is, once again, since it's a full system state copy of Ethereum, we're just going and copying the Ethereum contract addresses. You don't have to go somewhere special or unique. You just go to the traditional places you would go to grab the contract addresses, wherever that may be.
Yeah, they're all your OX addresses.
Right. Exactly. Yeah.
Same on most EVMs. We should try providing a liquidity pair.
Yeah, let's do it. So let's go and so what do I have? So far we picked up a little bit of SHIB.
Yeah, you might have to swap out. You might be able to provide liquidity for SHIB and Test Pulse.
This freaking thing, get out of here. I didn't save my secret recovery phrase, since this is just like a practice wallet and wants
also
me to
now
go do that. This freaking thing. Let me see if I can get this out of our way. You guys are going to be able to steal all my Test Pulse. Secure my wallet. There you go. Take it all.
Guys, go get Dane's Test Pulse. I'm going to go hack you right now, bro.
Take it all. Crap. I got to come back here. All right. We got to freaking do this real quick. Copy to clipboard. All right. Let's pull up. Now, this is exactly what not to do. You do not want to copy this to clipboard and then paste it in a document and all that type of stuff. That's a great way to get your seed words taken and get scammed or hacked. But for our purposes, we're just going to do it really quick here to make this show move along faster. Come on, Word. Try to get that thing out of our way so we can see our assets better.
And guys, while you were waiting, smash the likes and subscribe if you love our content, what we're bringing with you with the crypto stuff and the real estate stuff. Please smash the likes and subscribe to help the algorithm.
All right, Delay Sheriff. What are we? Chaos Hub. Let's move this over here. This over here.
Geez, you were operating all right out of it. It's crazy that's making you do this.
Sheriff, Chaos Hub. Orinoco. What are we?
Grant, when are we moving to Puerto Rico? So I'm going down to Puerto Rico right after the Hex conference. And guys, if you come into the Hex conference, comment the comment section. We'd love to know if you're coming. We'd love to meet up for lunch, dinner, whatever. Be a lot of fun. But we're going to the Hex conference on the 18th. I myself, after the Hex conference, like the 21st or something, will be flying to Puerto Rico, where I'll be staying down there 3 weeks to 5 weeks. I didn't buy a return plane ticket yet, only one way. And then Dane will be coming down to Puerto Rico somewhere in the first week of June. And I'll probably the same with him, be staying between a month or maybe a little bit longer. Not sure. And just check it out, hang out with a bunch of Hexicans and see if we really like the island. I'm taking the wife and the baby. And we're just going to see if the wife really vibes with it. I think she will. She's already like 95% in. I'm 99% in. And so it's be interesting to see. And it's going to be a lot of fun. Do some scuba diving, do some hiking, everything, to kind of explore the island, get a feel of where the nice areas are on the island, where some of the crappy areas are. And so just kind of get our bearings around the island and ideally, meet up with a bunch of Hexicans too. It seems like that's where Hexico lives. There's over 30 Hexicans that live there. And so it's going to be a lot of fun. Did you get it going, Dane?
Yep. So MetaMask is ready to rock. I'm trying to swap. My swap failed. I'm trying to swap some Pulsechain for Pulsex. There we go. Swap went through. We're good to go.
All
Cool.
right, so let's do a little LP.
Let's
Oh,
do it.
Ryan, if your wife says she's not fine, oh, she's in, bro. She's in. You'll see. My
So
wife
let's
is
go.
so easygoing. She just does what she just goes with whatever with the flow. I love her to death. She allows me to do whatever I want, basically.
So we're gonna come in here and I'll do all the Pulsex. I just swapped for
Okay.
and some of the Pulse. So you come in here and you guys, this is a great way to go and get crushed here early on. I think it's fun to like play around with testnet. I absolutely will not be providing liquidity early on.
No, me
Absolutely
neither.
not.
Me neither, bro. I'll be spinning up my node validator and chilling.
Yeah, yeah. But there's a few steps to this which is important to understand. So if you haven't done liquidity before, we'll walk you through. So you go through your typical stuff in MetaMask here. We're going to go and enable the Pulsex.
And this
And
is a
then what it's
two-side equal liquidity, guys, meaning that you have to provide equal sides on both ends of the liquidity because it's V2 fork right now. We're anticipating the V3 to come, but so it will figure out the ratio for you when you click in there and type the asset in.
all right. So that went through.
Cool.
Let's
It's
go
it's
ahead.
it's working now. I was getting stuck last night doing this.
Really?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Let's see. We're going to see
Add
if
your
it'll,
PLP, yeah, so you can read it. Yeah, this would be cool. Yeah, yeah, Francis Powell. Yeah, I met Joey Norton out there. We actually met Joey Norton out there the last time we were there. Saw some of the hotels he was flipping. Hung out with him for a day. We hung out with him, Pace Morby, Robert, Investor Lift Robert. He lives down there, and so we got some real estate buddies who live there, and we got a bunch of crypto buddies that live there. I mean, it's just going to be so cool. Like,
it'll be
uh,
fun.
yeah,
So you can see we go in, we provide liquidity. It gives us these tokens. It combines them
cool.
and it gives us this token. It locks up our two pairs, or it locks up our pair, our two cryptocurrencies in our pair. And in return, it gives us this PLP token where we can go and provide liquidity. So we are not done yet. We've got to go.
You provided the liquidity. You're not done as far as going into the farm now.
Right, right. So
Yeah,
LP
you're
tokens and
earning fees now.
share pool. Oh, correct. Yep. So I've pulled my Pulsex and my
Yep.
Pulse, and so now I'm in your LP tokens are in your wallet. We can go back here, and then you can see. You want to make sure you come back to the liquidity and ensure that you have it here, and then you could go ahead and remove it if
Move
you
it.
wanted to. But we have a really small portion of the pool here, and we're going to be earning fees from doing this. Now, once again, the impermanent loss here can freaking destroy you. So would not recommend doing this early on.
Especially in the beginning. It can be
Yep.
tough. I mean, if
So
you
there's
got
a little,
massive bags of both Pulsechain and Pulsex and you know what you're doing, by all means, do what you want. I just know I'll be sitting out in the beginning. What are you going to
yeah.
say, Dan?
Yeah, so I was just going to say, so that's how we do liquidity. You can
Yep.
come and make your own pairs, whatever you want to do there. It's fun to come in and test it and see how it all works. One thing that I that I haven't understood, um, there's been a lot of I've seen a few of these accounts on Twitter where they're like, "Oh, I've been practicing every day for months on testnet V2B. If you don't know how to operate, like what have you been doing?" I'm like, "Are you new to crypto? I don't understand why you need to spend every day for the last 8 months practicing. Like, I guess if you wanted to do whatever you feel you need to prepare."
Yeah.
So the farms here are when you can come and you can look at the liquidity. And right now, these we'll be earning the ink token since we provided a little bit, which is kind of cool. We need to come in here, and if I'm not mistaken, so this is the next part that we need to enable.
Yep.
So we need to go and use our PLP token and put them to work here in the farm. So we're holding these tokens, but to clarify, we are not earning the fees yet until we enable these. So we're going to do all of them. We'll do next. We'll approve this. And we'll give MetaMask a few moments to confirm. Or the blockchain, I guess we can reference it here in MetaMask.
Yeah.
and then we'll start earning fees.
Francis Powell said, "Nice, I'll see you there." Oh, cool, man. I'm in Pace and Jerry's real estate class. Yeah, cool, man.
Oh
I
yeah,
know
cool.
Pace Morby here. Pace Morby lives in Phoenix, so I know him. I see him at the events all the time. And then Jerry, yeah, it'll be fun to be out there, those guys. And it's cool to be out with a bunch of real estate guys and crypto guys in the same island. I can't wait.
Right, right. And then after we do that, we need to stake our LP. We want to stake all of it. There's no reason to get these PLP tokens and just sit on them. So we're going to
Right.
confirm this.
This is the only use case, really.
Yeah, and you can see it's not calculating. So with all this being really early, it's not calculating a lot of the information that we would like to see if we were going to do this on mainnet. So yeah, this information will come in time. We can confirm this. And I freaking love how cheap the gas is. Like, it's remarkable.
It
Doing
is.
all this crap on, like, when we've done all this crap on Ethereum, I mean, you're paying $10 here, $30 there, $15, and all of a sudden you went through all
Times
this. You
more.
just spent
Yeah.
$130 just to get your position in.
Last night, Gwei was around between the 10 and 12 range. So I went ahead and claimed my weight token last night.
Oh, did you?
Yep.
What's it worth today? It's like $6 or so. Is that right?
No, between all my sacrifices, man, I had about $200 worth.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Not bad.
Yeah. Not bad at all. So, well, I'll hold on to it. $200 worth is not really worth me doing anything with. So I'll just hold on to it. Maybe they'll come out with a protocol that has some kind of use case for it. I don't know. And we'll see what happens.
Yeah,
And
that's cool.
yeah.
So you can see now we're ready to rock because you can see now the harvest button is enabled here in the ink. Now we haven't really earned any ink yet, nothing to,
Harvest.
to harvest. But now that this button is enabled, we're earning a little bit. In fact, I'm curious if we say confirm, we harvested a little tiny bit of ink apparently. So cool. So that's what it looks like to do an LP position. I know one thing that a lot of people, including me, were interested in was, could we come in and test the Pulsex pools? There's not any added right here. There's no pools. And I think that this is very indicative of what we'll see. The DAO has to be implemented for Pulsex, so that projects could be voted in for the pools for Pulsex holders to single-sided stake to earn, and so that'll take some time. So I would estimate that we're probably looking at a couple of weeks to 30 days after mainnet launches to actually see these pools available to start utilizing. And I think that's kind of the same thing here.
Because those projects have to submit into the DAO where everyone's going to vote on which ones are going to be accepted into these pools. And if you're holding Pulse X, you're the one that gets the vote in the DAO. So that's why a lot of people call this the whale token, because the whales will be controlling a lot of the incentive or the projects that will be voted in, if you will, and to the DAO. So yeah, it could easily be 2 weeks to a month, because you're going to have projects all submitting their projects in, and then we got to vote on it. And so it'll be interesting to see how it all plays out.
Right. Another thing that I found, where is it? Pulsex pools, farms. All right, what else should we?
The info. Yep, here you go. It's all the you can see the pools in here, the tokens.
So none of this is updating yet. It'll be a lot more interesting. In fact, we'll have to come in here once they connect that fake, or not, I guess it's not fake, the other Ethereum testnet to here to give everything a dollar value and all for all the values to show up. Keep in mind, right, with the ratio trading, it's not going to show dollar values before the bridge comes in, and that's where it could theoretically be a little bit dangerous to come in and do your swapping. In fact, our guest on yesterday, what was his name? Why am I blanking?
Yesterday's guest, yesterday's guest was Westcott Crypto.
Westcott, yeah.
Westcott
so Crypto. he had posted, and I thought this was valuable. I saw a tweet from him where he thought that he'd made this incredible swap and swapped his Pulsex for a bunch of hex and got an insane deal, and he was off by a 0, and he was like, oh, I did not get a good deal. And a lot of people are going to end up running into that with the ratio trading, similar to how
Just
we see
just how we see it in the HSI auctions.
That's what I was gonna say. Yeah,
we see people fat finger hedron all the time, and instead of bidding 10,000, they end up bidding 100,000. I mean, I don't think we've seen it that bad yet, but I've definitely seen I think like 5 to 50, like 2 to 20. So that's 1-0 off, guys. I mean, so be careful.
Yep. Be careful out there. And I love I can't wait to bid on HSAIs with dust gas fees. I mean, it's pretty much free to go and operate. It's pretty remarkable. We can go. In fact, let's see if Alex,
The front end's operational.
is it on Pulsechain?
You'll have to go to app dot, what is it?
Let's try it.
App.icosa. There you go.
Account 1 next.
I haven't done it, but I've heard online that it was operational.
Yeah, we can go and check it out here. Let's see, are we on ETH, or we're probably on, no, we're on Pulsechain testnet. Cool. Let's go and see. So let's come back here to the DEX. We're going to trade. Let's go PulseX to Icosa, or Pulse to Icosa, and we're going to do, how much will it let us do before? Okay. Swap that. Confirm. Unexpected issue with estimating gas. Yeah, so lots of issues here with using this initially. Dismiss. Let's refresh and see if that fixes it for us. And also with a lot of these pools, they're moving, like the liquidity is moving back and forth so rapidly.
Yeah.
That like it's
highly volatile. There it goes.
Issues, yeah.
All right.
Confirm.
The Randy Hilarski method worked.
It worked.
Refresh the page. He was doing the same thing on his show last night. We were playing.
Okay.
Yeah, he's playing on testnet.
So let's see. We'll see if this will go through. We'll scoop up some Icosa, and then we can go play around with it.
Yeah.
Cool. We got a little bit of our Icosa. So you can see, I mean, I've got 2 Icosa. Let's go.
$150 on the Ethereum. Ethereum's no, I'm sorry,
$1.50.
$1.50.
$1.50. Yeah.
Here I go, fat fingering a 0.
Yep. We got a little bit of Icosa, create new stake, max Icosa. Yeah, looks like it's all working. Cool. Very cool.
Oh, yeah, it sure is. Sure is. Okay.
Let's I'm curious about the HSI auctions. Not yet. Okay.
Supported network on that end.
Please change networks to support network, the HSI app. So this actually is really interesting, because dependent upon how long it takes for the HSI auctions to show up here, there may be a unique opportunity where there could be, I mean, there might be a big backlog of stakes that couldn't have been started.
Right.
And you could come in and start a bunch of them, maybe get a better deal. That's an interesting thought.
There might be some really juicy deals in here.
Yeah.
At launch. Wow. Okay.
We're giving away the alpha here, guys. Smash the like, subscribe. We're giving it all away.
Yeah.
So that's kind of cool. So yeah, if there's anything else you guys want to see, so we'll do another one of these shows where we walk through once, hopefully it'd be cool if there was a PulseX pool, and it'd be cool once the ETH testnet is bridged in, we get dollar values and all that stuff. It'd be nice to be able to have more information to better evaluate the liquidity pools. So all of that will be coming. It'll be fun to see it all and see how thick the pools are. But once again, like on every single pair that I checked so far, the liquidity has been almost non-existent. Yeah. I mean, it has been very thin. So you couldn't even do anything, like you couldn't even do anything of particular weight, even if you wanted to. Once again, like I'll show you. I mean, we've got, so essentially this is only, so it'll let me do this much. But if I start adding, I mean, once we jump up another 0, that's only, what is that? That's 1, 2, That's only $68 worth of pulse from best sack rate right there. It won't even let me go and swap $68 to Pulsex.
But I'm wondering if
$68.
it's because you don't own the tokens.
Well, I have the. I mean, we could. I was trying it last night with Pulsex since I've got a pretty big bag of Pulsex,
Yep.
and same
Okay.
thing.
Same
Same
thing.
thing.
Okay.
Yeah. So it'll be fascinating. I'm very interested to see what the AMM bot does. So a lot of people. So here's another narrative, and this is a good place to wrap it up. But I know there's been a lot of people that were concerned that the AMM bot would come and just dump all the liquidity right out of
Yeah.
the gate, and that was going to make it hard for pricing to move for Pulsechain and Pulsex.
Been interesting to see. And props again to K4K. He ported this out and found where he thinks the AMM bot contract is at, and all the assets it's storing and holding, and it did not dump all the liquidity in for. So, I mean, Richard Hart hates traders, bro.
Right.
And so, why not distribute this liquidity over time? We'll see.
There's got to be some. I mean, I hope there's more than what we're seeing here. Like the liquidity is so thin, you can't hardly swap anything. So of meaningful value. So it'll be interesting to see. And if you guys see if I'm doing something wrong, in fact, love a comment if there's something I'm missing here. But I spent a lot of time last night and today. All the liquidity in the pairs that I'm interested in seem to be practically non-existent. And so if that's the case, then like there won't be much ratio trading to be had anyway.
Right.
Like
Or
you
except
can't
for
swap anything meaningful.
you'll ratio trade and get wrecked.
I mean, you're ratio trading with like $6. I mean, you can't, you just can't do much. So interesting to see. But yeah, Corey, is there anything else you want to cover on our show today before we jump
No,
off?
that's it, man. A couple housekeeping, I guess, points. Guys, next week we won't be in town. We're going to be in Florida for a real estate mastermind. So we won't be on the show next week. We'll be back on the show on the week after, all the way leading up to the Hex conference in May. And we have some amazing guests coming on our show. We have tomorrow, we have Internet Money. What's his name? KG with Internet Money.
Yeah, that'll be
Tomorrow, which will be fun. And then the week after we get back, we should be having on B Roots is going to be coming on their show. I know he's kind of controversial, which I like. I like that he's in some ways he's a truth teller with some of his stuff. He likes to cut through narratives, even though he's kind of a pump and dumper himself. But I like the guy. And another who else we're having on? Oh, an Identity Block. I'm in conversation with him to talk about taxes and also some of the regulations. Identity Block, if you guys aren't familiar with him, he has a very good handle on regulations and what bills that they're trying to pass here in the United States. And he's just he's on top of it with that stuff. A lot of people
and the Puerto Rico play, how all that works.
Yeah, he's in on that too. So he would be an amazing interview to have on. But yes,
good point. Like B Roots, more truth than many if people actually listen.
It's a very true funding, Jim. I'm glad you're here today. Traders are necessarily ratchet prices. Yep, hate might be a strong word. All price comes from people speculating that price will be different in the future. Yes, I agree with that. Hate is probably definitely a strong word if I use that word, but they are a necessity for any ecosystem to thrive. Yeah, you see it in everything. I mean, we traded real estate for a long time.
Right. There has to be trading. If everyone just held it and then it didn't exchange hands, you wouldn't have price action.
That's how I made a bunch of money, was trading real estate around.
Yeah. This is a great point. It's just a test net to see if the AMM bot works. They'll use real numbers for mania. I don't disagree with that. I guess that I was hoping that they would, and of course Richard's not going to share his whole hand of cards so people he wants to mitigate gaming the system. But I would think that you would want to test the AMM bot's ability to deploy the liquidity too. And it doesn't appear like there was hardly anything deployed. Maybe they feel confident in deploying just a little bit and seeing that the little bit it worked. In fact, maybe they can go, in fact, I'm making this up as I go, but you very well could just program the AMM bot to say like, hey, release 5% or 1% of supply across the board. Maybe they did that and they're like, oh, that worked. And then they feel like they can alter and change that. But no, this is a great point, and I think it's important to emphasize that once again, this absolutely is just a test net, and so it's fun to play around, but you can't necessarily build sound strategy based off the numbers and the liquidity that we're seeing here. So excellent point.
Nope, that's absolutely correct.
Cool, guys. Well, hope you have a great day. Tuning us in tomorrow with KG from Internet Money. That'll be fun to talk with them about their wallet. In fact, I'm really curious to get into why he felt the need to go and do that when Richard himself said he's coming out with a wallet. That feels like a pretty I don't know. That's not something that I necessarily would have done. So curious to talk to him about that.
I think he created had plans on creating the Internet Money wallet before Richard started talking about his
That's
wallet.
fair. Yeah, that's fair. So. My best guess is that all liquidity is actually released at mainnet by Fixer. Trickling out is a lot of marketing. Trickling out has a lot. My best guess is that all liquidity is actually released at mainnet by Fixer. That's interesting. I think that would make pricing move. So in fact, let's keep going because I think this is an interesting topic. We'll go for just a few more minutes. If you guys have any commentary on this idea, let's talk about it. So if there is a lot of liquidity released, the AMM bot has a ton of liquidity. If it goes and dumps it all in the market, on the one hand, I love the idea because we could go and we could ratio trade very meaningful amounts right out of the gate. Yes. Like I said, when I saw the opportunity, and I know it's just testnet, but I'm like, man, if I could trade one Pulsex and get 4 Pulse in return, you better believe I'm clicking the sell button. Please, God, let this go through. I'm absolutely doing that. But if there's a lot of liquidity, it can make it harder for Hex or for pricing to go up. That's why Hex was able to appreciate so hard because the liquidity has remained relatively thin.
He's got a point though. Trickling out the liquidity does have marketing and custody risk. So the marketing risk is that saying that, oh yeah, Richard Hart launched a new layer 1 blockchain, but it has no liquidity. Like it has,
there's got to be some liquidity.
Yeah, it is.
But all of it, that feels like a lot. That doesn't feel very Richard Hart-esque to me.
Yeah, Gary made a very good point there. I don't know.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. My prediction is that the AMM bot will release a lot of liquidity around 11. What was that? Oh, 1.5, 2 months from launch. See that feels more Richard Hart-esque to me. Like it would make sense for him to want to hold some of it back, in my opinion, to just control supply. Like, and some people think it's a bad thing with Hex that he's able to control the supply and do things with pricing since he holds so much. We've benefited from it. If you've been in the game, like, and been in this recent pump, we've benefited from it. And so, I would think he would want to continue to do that. Let's see. Who is more likely to engage communities outside of RH Maxis? Where does the engagement in things RH doesn't come from? NFT, Litecoin, Doge. Certainly, yeah, I agree with that. But all of the liquidity funding, Jim, that feels like a lot. What am I missing? It comes from people that access ERC, not RH things. It also is unlikely that RH wallet will be focused on interchain connectivity. Oh, okay. Those are some interesting thoughts to consider. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
People with FOMO on day one.
Oh,
absolutely. Absolutely. They're going to.
Guys, have a nice DCA strategy put in place for this. Geez, you can't stress that enough. Don't go and buy your whole bag on day one. Just so we'll have to do a whole
Everyone in Hex would tell you that. All the day oneers wish they wouldn't have bought day one. They wish they would have waited because they got an infinitely better deal. Now the question is, and we'll have to talk about this on another show. We'll have to have a guest on and chat about this.
Yes.
But like, do you think that Pulsechain is going to take off like a rocket and come back to day one launch pricing? I don't know. There is so much buzz and hype, that it might be a unique situation where it doesn't. So once again, we'll talk about that all more on another show. Look at EOS launch, look at Hex launch, look at ETH launch
Yeah.
charts. Absolutely. Yeah.
Yeah. We'll do a whole show on that, Dane. You did a nice analysis that one time on your other channel that got banned.
I
For
gotta break
some
the
reason.
takeover.
Yeah, we should do a whole show where you break down that content again, in nice detail. I'm sure you still have that
Yeah,
Excel
I've got all
file.
the data. I could go and
Yeah,
update it too.
yeah, it would be really fun, man, to have a show on that.
Yeah, yeah. That's why I might just get copies on everything to protect myself from poor DCA. Absolutely, and heavily recommend, write out a plan, whatever it may be. For me and Corey, I'm gonna. Corey likes to have a journal. I like spreadsheets. We're gonna write out all of the math for us and for our private group. We're gonna write it all down, share it with our private group, so that it's an easy reference point to say, like, okay, what should I be doing? Here's my plan. Does
Yep.
this ratio make any sense? And just do that with a smaller portion of your bag so that you're protecting downside risk. With that being said, if you guys want some of those resources, we'd love to chat with you about the private group. Should have talked about this earlier. But if you want to schedule a free call, check out the link below. Love to chat with you about the private group. If you're a fit, we'd love to have you in. If you're not, it's not a big deal. If you're looking for a bunch of free stuff, it's not for you. We get it. If that's you, that's fine. But we're over 70 members now. I think we're almost 75 members, and
Yep.
we'd love to have you along if you
Man, we
like
got
this
some
content.
really heavy hitters in there. I mean, guys who own 20 or 2 or 3,000 doors, guys who own big mobile home parks, and all these guys are, they want some exposure in their crypto portfolio. And there's a rumor going around we might have a really big dog joining our group soon.
Yeah.
Someone who's a really known OG real estate guy from the 1980s. He was shortly, probably maybe I would say 10 years after Carlton Sheets, and he might be coming into our group, and I'm excited for that.
Over
Man.
$1 billion in sales. It's a big deal. So
Yeah.
we're excited about that. Ryan's in the group. Ryan was one of our early members. He says group is well worth the investment. Trust me. Appreciate
Yeah,
the
and
feedback.
Ryan's a mover and shaker in the real estate space too. I've known Ryan for a little while. I met Ryan through Joe Dillon, and yeah, so he's a mover and shaker for sure.
Yep, absolutely. Cool. Well, once again, appreciate you guys. We will see you tomorrow.
See you guys.